Very good afternoon to one and all. I, Mridhu Bansal from Modi Institute of Technology and Science, would like to give the presentation on Interactive Lesson Learner. Our application name is MyPoint. First of all, I would like to thank Professor D.V. Phatak sir to give us such a wonderful opportunity. Further, I would like to thank our project manager, Dr. Madhuri Sawant ma'am, and our project mentor, Yogansh Sharma sir, for their immense support and guidance. Our team members are Upendra Ghintala, Niklesh Ganeshan, Rindu, John, and myself, Mridhu Bansal. Our presentation consists of introduction, functional flow, modules and their functionality. Then we have demonstration of our application, what we have learned, and then the challenges which we have faced and the future enhancement. Let me begin by explaining the need of such an application. As we all know, there is a drawback in Indian society that there is not a proper distribution of a quality education and the availability of resources. So, we aim to provide such an application via which students can learn of their own without the need of any other resources. Our basic objective is to create an interactive lesson through which students can learn, understand, practice as well as can evaluate themselves without the need of any other resources except Akash tablet. We have divided our application in certain modules so that students can go through them the application in a very sequential way. Our modules include C-plane, Cartesian coordinate system, plotting, scaling, line, and then we have quiz through which students can self-assess themselves. We have divided these modules into sub-modules. In C-plane, we are explaining the fundamentals. In fundamentals, we are also providing them a recap through which student can recollect and can retain their concepts. Then other modules, we have sub-modules in a very similar way so that there can be a consistency. First sub-module is practical examples. We are using the practical examples of classroom, blackboard, cricket, etc. so that students can relate them with the real life. Then we have concept basics. In this we are explaining them the theoretical concepts, but we are explaining these concepts in such a way so that students won't get bored and can learn easier and in better way. Then we are providing solved examples for the academics purpose basically. Then we have practice. This is a very important module of our application. In practice, we are providing them an interactive graph. Through this graph they can learn as many times as they want. And then we have Quizit so that students can evaluate themselves. In Quizit we have questions of the respective module only. So we have one more quiz. In which this quiz consists of the questions from all the previous concepts. We have chosen our topic as a Cartesian coordinate system because this is a mathematical topic and students generally dread of this topic because they don't understand the basic logic behind this and they don't understand the practical implementation of this. So we are using Cartesian coordinate system. So through our application we want them to understand it, the practical implementation of this. We can see the Cartesian coordinate system is used worldwide. We can see its example everywhere. Even the longitude and latitude concept is based on coordinate system. If you think of it, all of us have used this concept in these past few weeks. The GUI of any application can never be created without the concept of coordinate system. And even if you want to print hello world on the center of our screen, then also you need some concept of coordinate system. So we have used started our application with the coordinate system. In future, we have planned to provide this application with other modules for other classes and other topics as well. To increase the efficiency of our application, we have added few other functionalities as well, which include textual guide. Through textual guide, we are giving them all the instructions so that student can understand the application well and can use them in an efficient way. Then we have audio guide. In audio guide, since we aim this application for the students of Maharashtra State Board as well, so we have provided an audio explanation for each and every module, including the explanation as well as the instructions. We have given the sketchpad as well in the test module so that students, if some want to calculate something or want to write something, they can use the sketchpad for that. Then we have screenshots for the practice module. If students want to save their practice pages and want to use them for future their reference, then they can use the screenshots. And since we don't want to limit their knowledge up to the content provided, so we have provided few web references as well for like further information. Now I would like to call upon my colleague for demonstration of our application.
Thank you, Mridu. I'd like to start a demonstration of application. This is basically our splash screen, and this is a home screen. As you can see, we have an application guide over here. The application guide basically contains instructions as to how to use the app and how to go through each module. This ensures that each and every student can make the best use of the application. Apart from having a textual guide, we also have an audio guide over here. I hope it's audible to everyone. We have provided the audio in Marathi right now, but after this we plan to increase the number of languages to cover as many regional languages as possible. And we will also be providing translations of the textual content. This ensures that even those students who are hearing impaired can make the best use of our application. And we'll start my point. Okay. Let's say I want to locate Avinash sir in this auditorium. The best possible way to do it would be to say the person sitting on the first row and second bench. Now what I did here was I had my origin as the door and started numbering the rows and columns as 1, 2 and 3. We transformed this exact example in that of a classroom, and we teach the students the concept of why do we need a coordinate system. As you can see, we have an image of a classroom, and using these images we explain to the students why we need coordinate axes and how we use them. Following this, we have a more formal definition of the coordinate system as XY axis, where the left right direction is called the X axis and the vertical direction is the Y axis. At the end of this module, we have a recap. The recap is basically an animation. The reason we use animation is because it embeds more easily in the student's mind. They all say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so obviously a moving picture would be worth a lot more. This ensures that students don't forget the basics. Once you have drawn the coordinate system, the next natural step is to start plotting points. Even here we have followed a similar structure, like we had a practical example first, and the point basics cover the theoretical part of point, where we say that a point is described as an ordered pair x comma y, where x is the horizontal distance and y is the vertical distance. After this, to take care of the examination aspect, we have the solved examples. In solved examples, we have provided questions along with their answers. This ensures that the application is self-contained and students don't need any external references for preparing for their exams. The next part is the practice. This is the most fun part in our application. It basically is an interactive graph where you can do whatever you want with it. Suppose you want to work only the first quadrant, you just move the origin to the bottom left corner, or you are interested in the third quadrant, you move it to the top right corner, and wherever you click on the graph, the coordinates of that point are printed. And let's say you want to plot a point, you just click on the plot point option on top and enter the XY coordinates. Suppose I enter 5, 5, and then you click on plot point. The point is plotted, but then obviously we are not able to see it because of the small screen size. So what you do is just zoom out of the graph, and you can see that the point 5, 5 has been plotted. And suppose you want to save your practice for further reference, we can actually save your screenshot by clicking on the save screenshot button. And once your screenshot is good, you get a toast. And apart from this, we have the textual help as well as audio help. Even in this case, we have audio in Marathi.
टॅबलेटच्या पडद्यावर कोठेही स्पर्श करा.
Once you're done with the practice and you're pretty confident that you can tackle any questions, we have a quiz module at the end. It basically contains 3 different quizzes. The first quiz is where we generate random points and ask the students to plot the points on the graph. It's very simple, as in they just have to touch on the graph to plot the points. And right now I didn't plot it correctly, and so it shows a wrong answer. And once you're done with this, you click on submit and you get a pie chart distribution of your questions at there's the number of correct questions, the number of wrong questions, and number of unattempted, and I attempted one and got it wrong, so it's fully red. The next quiz is where we plot random points on the graph and ask the students to enter coordinates. And if you observe, we actually have an increasing timer here. The reason we have this is because we didn't want students to be pressurized into thinking that they have to answer a certain number of questions within a limited time. And the last quiz we have is an MCQ type. The students can enter the number of questions they want, which is between 1 and 10. And let's say I enter 5 and click on start. The delay is due to streaming, and okay. We have 5 random questions which are generated, and let's answer certain questions. And once you are done answering the questions, you click on the submit button on the menu bar. And then we once again have a pie chart distribution. Another feature we have here is the view solutions. You can click on that and view the solutions for each and every question. We have the question, the correct answer, the answer you selected, and in this case I didn't select an option, and the explanation for that particular question. After point, we have scaling. Even this has the same structure as in the practical example, the basics, the solved examples. The practice module in scaling is a bit different. We have an extra feature of changing the scale. Let's say I want a scale of 10 on the x-axis and maybe 50 on the y-axis. You just enter the scale and then click on the change scale button, and the scale on the graph gets changed. As you can see, we have 10, 20, 30 and 50 and 100 on the y-axis, and there may be cases where you are required to plot points only starting from a very high value. In such case, we just click on the break checkbox, and let's say we want a break of 100 on the x-axis, and you click on change scale and the break appears. After scaling, we have line. In line, the practice module has basically a blank equation of the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. The reason we did this because while developing content, we observed that textbooks have very few examples. They just have 1 or 2 examples and explaining how to plot points, how to draw lines. So here the student can enter the equation of any line he wants, and I am entering 5x plus 8y plus 10 equals 0, and once you click on the button find xy, the steps involved in drawing a line is shown. What you do is we substitute 3 different values of x, and here it's 0, 1, 2, and we find 3 different values for y. Using these values, we just draw a line, and the line is drawn on the graph. The best part about all these practice modules is that they are basically dynamic and can be used anywhere, any number of times. So we can also claim to save paper and work towards a more greener world, which is basically why we have all these green colors in our app. And the last module is a Quizit, where we have 2 different levels, basic and advanced. The basic levels just reinforce all the basic concepts you learned over the course of the application, and the advanced level has some questions which are of higher standard and require some more out of the box thinking. Like let's say we have a question like this, find the slope of a line perpendicular to another given line. This requires some more thinking, and we also have the feature of a scratch pad where a student can perform calculations. Let's say as in basically you can do it for any other purpose also. And that is basically the application, and I like to call upon Rindu to give the conclusion.
Thank you, Nikhilesh. What we learned. Before I share what we have learned from this internship program, I would like to define what we mean by learning. Learning means acquisition of knowledge from practicing, experience, or by studying. We have learned many things during our internship, so which we have classified into two groups, that is technical learning and non-technical learning. In technical learning, we learned about Android programming, where we learned about the various features and widgets that are used in Android. In Android Canvas, we implemented it for practice session, for quizzes, and for animation part. The fragments is a feature that we used for displaying the contents of different modules, that is plotting, line, and scaling. The sliding menu, this we used in the practice session, as we have seen that we required the full screen for displaying a full canvas, and at the same time we required the inputs for the coordinate system. That's why we implemented sliding menu, which helped us to implement both these features. View pager is one of the most important feature that we have used. This has been used for developing our GUI part. Phone gap. This is a feature that we have used so as to display the HTML content that we wanted to display on our app. Following it, we used HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript for developing interactive test, practice sessions, and animation part. While documenting our project, we learned several software engineering concepts as well. They are UML diagrams, SDLC models. UML diagrams are defined as the graphical representation of our application through which we can represent both the structural as well as behavioral aspect of our application. SDLC models help us to guide and provides a framework based on which we can develop our application. Apart from the technical learning, we also learned some non-technical things also. First one is teamwork. This internship helped us to work in a team and provided us an exposure how to work in a team. We distributed jobs among the group members of our team and integrated every work and made our application my point. The second thing that we learned is time management. Time is crucial and it waits for none. So following this quotation, we planned our project in such a way that we complete our projects in the given deadline and try to achieve our application, our aim, that is my point. The challenges faced. During the application development, we faced several challenges. One of them was due to the small screen size of tablet, we were not able to display the full canvas on our tablet. So to resolve this problem, we provided zoom in and zoom out functionality. The second problem that we were facing was the text rendering problem of Android version ice cream sandwich. As this application is meant for the Indian schools, so we wanted that we wanted to extend our application to several regional languages as well. But due to the problem of text rendering problem that was given by the Android version ice cream sandwich, we cannot resolve the content, we cannot make the content in the other regional languages. So to solve that problem, we provided audio explanation, and which will be, for this we have recorded Marathi explanation, which can be further extended to other regional languages as well. The third problem that we were facing was displaying HTML content using Android default widget, that is WebView. To solve this problem, we used phone gap. Future enhancement. There is always a scope of improvement, and so does our application also. We have designed this application for the Indian school students, and it may be possible that some students who are from rural schools, they are not able to understand English. So we want to enhance this application by providing the content and audio explanation in different regional languages, such that the quality of education not only remains in the urban areas as well as reaches the rural areas. The second future enhancement that we think about is that this application, our project is meant for developing interactive lessons. So we have just covered the Cartesian coordinate. If we work on this project again, we can make different applications which will be covering different topics such as periodic table, differentiation, integration, etc. So for every application, it is required that we take feedback from the real user. So we will present you a video that we have shooted when we are during our visit to one of the schools.
Gone through the entire application, my point, and we found it very interesting and useful. Especially if the children are provided with tablets, it will be very beneficial for the students. Especially the practice pages which have been developed are very nice.
The app which we saw for 9th standard was excellent, and I think it will be very useful if every student gets an access to the tablet. This would be useful especially to make the concepts clear, and would be very useful if it is available for every chapter.
one question. When you demonstrated all the apps or only your app? You had only your app. Lallu Sala, there are so many others who have done things. For the 9th standard itself, there were several other things which were possible. So did you not take all of them?
Actually, we didn't, but we would love to do it because we can get feedback for all applications from the teachers.
Okay. That is because you would not get such chance again and again to interact with the teachers. And it is useful to go to them with one shot. For example, I know of an independent team which went to teachers, including perhaps the same teachers, to show them the animations that they were trying to do. If you continue to do that for 20 projects, the 20th time the teacher will ask you to get out. But good job, very good job. Thank you. How much of coding have you done for this? Or was it mostly using available tools?
We actually developed everything from scratch, and we had around 15 to 16,000 lines of code.
It appears that the summer internship is producing more film directors than engineers. But that was a good shot. Just a couple of things. Have you taken permission from the IPR owners of those clips, including the music, to capture it and prepare your own film? So this is plagiarism. This is actually theft of intellectual property, is punishable under the Indian law, particularly under the Indian IT Act. Now this is the problem. I'm not blaming them, but this is an issue with our entire society and all of us. We do not recognize what is legally correct and what is legally wrong. We believe that useful information can be and should be shared by anybody and everybody and can be used by anybody. So that's a problem there. We'll have to remove this entire thing. In fact, if I want to play a song in the background and this song is protected by intellectual property right, then I must have explicit permission from the copyright owners of that song to include even a clip which is larger than a few seconds. A few seconds is permitted as fair use. But a minute long or a 2-minute long song, and to support you, me, all of us will go to jail. That's the law of the land. So just remember that. I don't want to belittle your effort. You have done a good job. But we'll have to edit out several contents which cannot go on to. Imagine now if you put it on the YouTube, you would be in deep trouble, in spite of doing excellent work. So just keep that in mind. That's one of the reasons why I keep emphasizing you must cite every reference from which you have either quoted ideas or quoted verbatim. Without that, no report is considered proper. So thank you so much once again.